What is something you don't have the heart to tell to your family? That I'm getting annoyed by all the negativity they keep spreading. It feels like they don't even want to be happy. I never understood pessimistic people. My mother is this way. I.e., I can tell her I paid off a bill and she'll bring up the fact that I have 100 other bills which are all in my name. Just shit hounding me for no reason. My wife hates them. I feel sorry for husband because I don't like being around his family and he wants to have a good relationship with them like he did while they were kids. How much I truly loathe Christmas since my fiance died and how I'd really rather not celebrate. It would really hurt him. That seems like a perfectly reasonable way to feel and I'm sorry this time of year is tough for you. I lost all respect for my dad. I'm starting to get sick of the family gatherings around Christmas time and I'm seriously thinking about just taking vacation around the holidays to Florida. We did this last year. 2 weeks. No cares. No holiday pressures. Nothing. It was amazing. It was the most refreshing and relaxing time I have spent in the last 20 years. No joke. Doing that gave me freedom to cast off the tradition chains and hubby and I now decide for ourselves how we want to spend our time. It has been an amazing year now that my family knows I have a passport and know how to use both it and an airline booking site if I don't want to do something the way Hey do. How many of them I have blocked on social media. Me too. My family are in the UK and I live in Canada. My grandmother died back in June and I posted on FB about it and a couple of them posted very nasty messages on my wall, not even in PM. They don't realize just how far 5,000 kilometers is. It's not like I can jump on a bus and be there in 30 minutes. That the reason I hardly visit anymore is because there is no effort. I take 2 flights across 3 states, rent a car, spend a decent amount of coin, and get to my folks' house to find that they haven't even made the bed in the spare room, or cleaned it up, or taken some time off work, or want to go anywhere or do anything. I love them dearly. They love me. But that always stings a bit. I don't want the world to stop, or revolve around me, but a bit would be nice. I flew back to Ireland from China, cost lots of time and money and had booked months in advance. My folks decided that it would be a good idea to visit my older brother in England for the first week. Welcome home indeed. That I know you cheated on my mom. Why don't you tell either of your parents? Well, mine is, less impactful than what's already on here, but they're all terrible cooks. Like, don't even understand fundamental cooking techniques. I'm no chef, but the food is borderline inedible and it's a miracle they haven't given each other food poisoning multiple times. Problem is they love cooking and are proud of their repulsive standard dishes. I could never tell them the truth and I don't want to ruin our family memories. So I roll with it, have a small helping of everything, and just hit a drive too on the way home whenever I eat with them. I'm so with you. Mom raised by alcoholics and dad being a Scouse meant I didn't learn about garlic until I was 18. Boil it and salt it, add margarine, done. For everything. The reason I stay in my room so much is to escape them. Whenever I am not in my room or out of the house, they insult me. After you turn 18 or whatever the age of an official adult is in your country, you can choose your family. Not everyone in the world is gonna be your best friend, and that's okay. Remember that there are people in the world who are in a situation just like you. Smiley face. I hope you find yourself in a better place in a few years. I still drink too much. I have just got much better at managing when I drink and when to stop so I can turn up fresh to family events and work. Maybe I am getting better. At least you are recognizing your habit and that's extremely important. Positive first step, but being a discreet drinker can lead to down a slippery slope and make an addiction even worse. That's how my uncle went. Finding his secret empty bottle stashes after the passing was groundbreakingly terrifying, though it shocked me out of my own habits at least. I can only wish the best for you in your journey. Cheers. If I didn't meet Misa when I did, I would probably be dead by now. Same here. That man kept me off the street when I got sick and had no insurance and couldn't maintain my scholarships. My parents thought I was lazy and needed to learn to support myself. My mom is getting old and I believe she is developing some kind of mental illness, like dementia or something. In her world, everyone is always to mess with her. She set up traps around her room to make sure no one comes in, constantly watches out the window, doesn't want to make any big noise in our home like music, in fear that our neighbor will complain and bring more problems. When I go out, she asks me about it, not to make small talk, but to investigate, so she knows at what time our landlord could have entered our home without telling us. Everything in our home that shouldn't be there is because our landlord did something. Something breaks. Landlord broke it. Soap container refilled. He refilled it. I told my brother about my suspicion about the mental illness, but he just told me to not say these kind of things about our mother. It's taking a toll on my mental health and I just want to move out and abandon this shit. I feel like I'm in jail living here. I have picture of these funny traps, contraptions if any Reddit health experts want to take a look. It sounds like you have good reason to be concerned about your mother. Does she have a general practice primary care doctor that she sees? You could try contacting them to discuss your concerns. The doctor may not be able to give you a diagnosis, patient confidentiality and all that, but they may be able to set other things in motion to get your mother some help, or at least try to address the things you tell them at your mother's next appointment. That the way they raised me was abuse and it seriously damaged me as a person. My parents think they were great parents, especially my mom, who was the more abusive one. And it's not even that I don't have the heart to tell them because I don't want to burst the bubble. I don't have the heart to tell them because I don't have the heart to sit through an hours-long lecture, ratement on why I'm wrong and how what they did doesn't count as abuse and I have no right to be upset. I just keep not answering or returning their phone calls and texts, but they keep obliviously trying to reach out to me thinking that I'm the asshole here and they have a right to speak to and say. The daughter regardless of my feelings. This one hit pretty close to home. I had to cut my dad off a few weeks ago, because he's my father and gets to decide how much contact he has with his granddaughter. After decades of abuse, manipulation, and emotional blackmail, I told him he could fuck right off with that opinion, that I'm her father, and I decide who she gets, or does not get, time around. He'll never get the point, consider any view other than his own, or entertain the possibility that he's wrong. He'll only be angry that he feels slighted and didn't get his way. We had a similar conversation about his deplorable behavior about my own childhood several months ago, secretly as a test as to how he'd respond about not getting his way with my daughter, and he had the exact same response. I'm not so much of a person, as I am his possession. Something to parade out during conversations at the bar and to play, better than you, in arguments with. At least he's consistent. You're getting really old and I'm not ready to lose either of you. My dad is gonna be 76 in a few months and I'm dreading him not being there for me. And to my younger brother, get a fucking divorce, bro. Also a fear of mine. My dad is also in his 70s and while the average lifespan on his side of the family is well into the 90s, it's a thought that pops up every so often and scares me. The amount of my student loan debt. My mother would faint. This is why I'm debating going out college. That I despise my parents for being so selfish during their divorce and not putting us kids first. Still 20 years later we get shitty comments from one about the other. At my wedding they wanted some sort of acknowledgement for being able to be civil. Congratulations on doing what 99% of the population can do, assholes. God, I feel this on many levels. Kudos to you for getting through it. Sometimes I just want to scream at my parents when they bring stuff like that up. I had been going to a therapist and psychiatrist because of my family's constant discouragement to my career aspirations. I had other reasons to see a therapist, but this made me reach out for help. The same thing happened to me. It actually really fucked me up and I ended up with no career aspirations. I'm 28, do pretty well, but feel totally unfulfilled and confused about a career path. My grandma was the worst, constantly lecturing me and telling me everything I ever wanted or liked was more or less wrong. Add years of this behavior up and bingo. That I was raped 2 weeks after I moved out of home. I was only 17. I just don't want to hurt him, so I've kept it to myself. Similar, last time I talked about anything close to this my mom said, if I found out something like that happened to you I would kill myself. Add that to list of shit I am never telling my mother. I have cancer, probably the same kind that killed my mother's parents and is killing her brother. Not curable, but won't start to show for a while, and I want to enjoy what time I have left. Thing is, and here's a bonus relevant to the initial question, I wanted to enjoy most of it without him. Yeah, don't tell them until you have to then. Cancer has a way of making everyone want to be around you to show support. It is also okay to not want that support. Edit to add, they also might not understand why you don't want support and then get angry with you. Which just makes things worse. That I'm so exhausted 24/7 that I just want to sleep and fade away. I'm still battling depression every day, but I'm functional, because I'm still able to get up and work and I'm not suicidal. I'm just constantly overwhelmed and so fucking tired. Sounds a bit like dysthymia. AKA, mild, long-term depression. Just because you're functional doesn't mean you should not get help for this, if possible. My brother raped me regularly when I was between 7 and 16. He was 18 years older than me and always lived in the same house when he wasn't in jail or on the street. Becca. He was an addict. He died of an overdose after one night when I was 16. He had raped me again probably 2 hours before my mom found him dead. It was probably the best thing that ever happened in my life. I felt trapped and was completely hopeless until he died, and I hate him for being such a piece of shit. My family talks about how he was before being an addict, but the only man I remember is the one who got off on hurting and humiliating me and telling me I was worthless. It makes me sick when they speak of him like he was a saint who lost his way. I tried to speak up at some point early on, but my mom and dad could never believe the firstborn was a monster. That is messed up. I don't think it's bad to say that you are happy he is gone. Stay strong. I was gonna say that I feel really lonely and that I blame him for my inability to function as a social human being, but reading though the thread makes my problems really dull and not worth sharing in comparison. Your problems are as valid as everyone's else, it is how you feel, and if it makes you feel better you should share it. My meds aren't for casual anxiety. They're for acute PTSD. I'm seeing a therapist. I've been hiding my episodes and passing them off as school jitters for half a year. You're brave for getting help, and I'm sorry you have to hold this secret. Hope you can find some peace and calm in this season. That I love them so goddamn much. But I drove them away, and I went out to live on my own, and I just miss them every fucking day. It's never too late to reach out. Hi fellow grown siblings. Now that our parents are both dead, it's become very apparent that we really have nothing in common. No real rapport. I don't feel like I really know you as people, as you won't share anything real about your lives with me. And every time I tell you personal things about my life, you give me one word, or yeah, answers that make me feel like you don't give a shit what I just told you. And then the subject changes to some meaningless bullshit topic. That's the one who actually answers the phone, the other one won't even do that or ever return a phone call. And if not for being related, I can't imagine why we would spend time together. And I also felt this uneasy detachment my whole life, but always blamed myself, and now that I am older I realize it's not just me, or maybe not me at all. And not only that, but I kind of realize what a bunch of self-centered jerks you all have been. And I feel like I went above and beyond to make things fair, work together, help and be supportive, while you guys just looked out for yourselves. And that hurts. It all hurts. And it hurts to realize now that I am an adult, I never knew better. I always just thought it was something I did. And I see how that set me up in life to be a people pleaser and a doormat, always trying to be a little more supportive, give a little more. While you all just looked out for yourselves. Thanks assholes. Your sibling. That I am 21 and no longer a child, but am sure that half the world has to deal with this struggle. I'm 58 years old and people are still telling me what to do. It never ends. I wish everyone just bought one sentimental and well thought out gift for each other and save our time and money for things that matter, like helping each other with doctor bills from extreme health problems, or other enormous bankrupting disasters, or large donations for the poor, or sending money to plaques that were crushed by hurricanes, or donation to our local community, or even saving money for ourselves when that's not needed and improving our families' lives. Instead we spend thousands on bullshit and stress ourselves out, turning what should be an honest and exciting time for friends and fam. into some materialistic contest where everyone is anxious that they didn't buy enough or spend enough. Edit, or even just buying something else throughout the year when we see something someone would like. That I'm questioning whether or not I still believe in God. My family, hyper Southern Baptist, found out I was an atheist through my EXS texts when her parents stole her phone and saw her and I sexting. I don't love them. Not one bit. I had a miserable childhood, and if I could choose to, I would never see them again. I haven't told them that I want this to be my last Christmas. Not currently suicidal, have been in the past. But more like, I want to move out when I graduate college in a few months and never look back. No contact. No holidays. Maybe talk to my brothers still because it's not all the fault. I just feel alone and I want a new start in a new place so I can make a name for myself. I can just be me. That it is very likely that I will fail my thesis again. I've already spent a year on it and had to start over during the summer. So if I fail, another half a year will be added working on it. I wouldn't feel as bad if I paid for my school myself, but my parents are paying for it while they're earning less and less because of physical troubles. I tried telling them I would pay for it myself earlier, but they wouldn't let me, but it makes me feel terrible at the moment.